I don't know. All I know is we threw 4 interceptions and fumbled once. 1 interception they returned for a touchdown. 3 others were in our end of the field where they scored points. That's all I know. That's inexcusable. Inexcusable. Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game. Another game.
Welcome back. Week 14. We have our final 8 teams. And we close the book on our 3rd regular season. I can't believe it. So congratulations. You all made it through another 14 grueling weeks doing battle with 13 other teams. You fought, you clawed, traded your way to where you are now. May Philip Rivers have mercy on your soul. All right. Speaking of closing the book on the season, we have for week 14 an average team score across the league of 105.90. That's pretty much, that's only down 1.13% from last week. So about 106 points teams in our league averaged in week 14. We had 6 teams beat projected total. We had 8 teams over 100 points. That's up 1 from last week. And we only had 1 underdog victory. That is down 3 teams from week 13. As a league in 2025, we scored a total of 21,329.84 points through 14 weeks as a whole. So again, it's the last time that all 14 teams will play for the season, so I thought it's good to benchmark that number. That is our lowest out of the 3 seasons. Last year as a team, as a league again, so this year we scored 21,329 points. In 2024, we scored 21,603 points, and in 2023, our first season, we scored 22,141 points. Take that for what it's worth, but we did score a bunch of points. Good job. All right, let's get into the Week 14 matchup recaps because, boy, oh boy, did we have drama. You couldn't have written, honestly, a better script than the Week 14 here that we had in 2025. Proud to say it was our league. It was really fun to watch. Up first, we have Trevor's Locks versus Tua in the Pink. The battle for the all-time win streak record on the line. Father versus son. Final score, Tua in the Pink takes it, dominates 139.23 points to Trevor's Locks, 85.15 points. All-time record in the series, Trevor's Locks does lead his old dad 3-2. However, the all-time win streak ends at 8. So Tua in the Pink and Trevor's Locks are both tied for the longest win streak in league history at 8 games. So there's still a record to be broken in 2026. Top performers for Tua in the Pink, Jalen Waddle, Devon Achane, Josh Jacobs, and Michael Wilson. Another waiver wire winner coming off and just scoring a boatload of points. Trevor's Locks, Daniel Jones, done for the season. And they bring Philip Rivers back from the dead. What a crazy freaking storyline that is. Juwan Johnson and A.J. Barner did not pull through for Trevor's Locks. Trevor's Locks finished the season at 10-4, securing the number 2 seed in the playoffs and finishing in second in the regular season standings. Tua in the Pink closes at 6-8, stays in 10th place, but unfortunately misses the playoffs. Up next, we have Sleuthy Sloths versus the Pack. Final score, the Pack 111.69. Jesus Christ, finally scored over 100 points for the first time in a couple weeks. To Sleuthy Sloths 107.09. All-time record, the Pack leads the series 3-1. Top performers for the Pack, Matthew Stafford, 26.49 points. Christian Watson, 26 points. Jason Myers, 14 points, coming off the waiver wire kicker. Hero, always nice to see that. Flops for Sleuthy Sloths, Tez Johnson, Goose Egg, Devontae Adams, and the Washington defense and special teams. The Pack finishes 9-5, securing the number 4 seed going into the playoffs and number 4 overall for the regular season. And Sleuthy Sloss falls to 311. Shout out 311. Landing in 13th place. Up next, Molly Dangerfield versus Steve's Retirees. Final score, Molly Dangerfield beating up on her dad. 126.3 points. Got to feel good about that going into the playoffs. 85.89 points for Steve's Retirees. All-time record, Molly Dangerfield leads the series 4-0. Just dunking on her dad. Top performers for Molly: DK Metcalf, Chase Brown, and the Houston defense looking like they could be, they could win you a week, right? 14 points out of a defense, that can win you a week. And in the playoffs, you will take that. They are the best defense in football right now, in my opinion. Flops for Steve's Retirees: Alec Ayumanor, Cedric Tillman, Kenneth Gainwell. Molly finishes the season at 9-5, securing the number 5 seed going into the playoffs, and number 5 spot overall for the regular season. Steve finishes 3-11. 3-11. I can't say 3-11 when I was saying 3-11. I got to come original. And last place, unfortunately, again, but first draft pick next season for Steve's Retirees. All right, Matt's Gritty Goombas taking on Nakua Matata. Maybe the second most important matchup this week. Could have had the potential to be maybe one of the all-time great scoring matchups in league history. However, there were a couple misses here. We'll get into that. Final score, though, Nakua Matata needing to win to have a shot at the playoffs, puts up 153.79 points. Nice week to a very respectable 134.69 for Matt's Gritty Goombas. All time, Matt leads the series 3-1, but that is the first win for Nakua Matata over Matt's Gritty Goombas in our third season here at Laces Out. Now, Matt forgot to set a couple people in his lineup, so he had the potential to put up, again, maybe win the matchup if those spots were filled. One was an injury, the other one was an empty wide receiver spot. That happens, but could have had a lot of potential to put up some monster numbers with Josh Allen doing what he did. But top performers for Nakua Matata, the namesake Puka Nakua, putting up a healthy 35.95 points. Jacoby Brissett, that waiver wire hero quarterback ad, shows up again, and the rookie RJ Harvey puts up almost 20 points for Denver. Nakua Matata finishes the season at 7-7, narrowly misses the playoffs, in 9th overall on the regular season. Matt's Gritty Goombas finishes 4-10 and lands in 11th place. Up next, we have Dominic the Donkey taking on Radical Rob. Dominic the Donkey in a position fighting for that last playoff spot, falls to Radical Rob 111.06 to 75.61. So Radical Rob taking the win, leading the series all time 3-1. Top performers for Radical Rob: Joe Burrow, Zay Flowers, T. Higgins. Flops for Dominic the Donkey: Darnell Mooney, Brenton Strange, and the Cleveland defense. Now, there's some drama here because Dominic the Donkey really needed a win to control their destiny going into the playoffs. However, falls to Radical Rob. But due to a healthy point total scored over the season, hangs on to that 8th place, that final playoff spot, finishing at 7-7. Congratulations to Dominic the Donkey, finishing number 8 overall on the regular season. Radical Rob, congratulations too, finishes 10-4. Last year's champ taking another top 3 spot through 14 weeks, is the number 3 seed going into the playoffs. And we have Dog Pound versus This Ain't Last Year number 1. The first most important matchup this week, given if Dog Pound doesn't pull out a win in this matchup, not going to the playoffs. And in walks Nakua Matata. But again, spoiler, Dog Pound takes it 109.56 to 91.3 points for Lewis's team. Dog Pound leads the series 3-1. Top performers, dog pound for Travis Etienne, Jared Goff, Jake Bates. Flops for Lewis's team, Devonta Smith, Bijan Robinson, and Aaron Jones. So Angelo controlled his own destiny, took it, secures the number 6 seed overall in the playoffs, finishes 8-6 and 6th overall through 14 weeks. Lewis also secures a playoff spot with, even though there's the loss though, with the total points scored, the tiebreaker goes to Lewis at 7-7, staying in 7th place, 7-7-7. I don't know about that. If that's lucky or not, we'll see. But going to the playoffs for the first time, congratulations, Lewis. Finishes 7th overall through 14 weeks. And last but not least, we have Al's Dumpster Divers. Number 1 dog taking on Paige's Primo team. Final score, Al's Dumpster Divers, 96.25 points. Didn't quite crack the 100-point benchmark, but on a down week still hangs on to the win. To Paige's 54.99 points. Tough week for Paige's Primo team in week 14. All-time, Al's Dumpster Divers leads the series 3-1. Top performers for Al's team, Jahmyr Gibbs, Trey Tucker, Breece Hall. Flops for Paige's team, DJ Moore, Cade Otton, and Romeo Dobbs. Al didn't really need to win for much here, but was definitely playing for first place and secures it. Number 1 team through 14 weeks, Al's Dumpster Divers, finishing 11-3. Clinches the number 1 seed overall in our league. Because we do 8 teams, there's no first round buys. In a smaller league, you might have secured a first round bye, I guess what could have been for Al, but either way, going into the playoffs, playing Dominic the Donkey, the number 8 seed in the first round, should be exciting. Paige finishes at 4-10 on the season and lands in 12th place. All right, let's get into the Week 14 awards. We have Beauty of the Week, Nakua Matata, 153.79 points. That's the first Beauty of the Week award for Nakua Matata in 2025. Going out with a bang, doing everything he could to secure a playoff spot. Very respectable. Paige's Primo team, Beast of the Week, 54.99 points. Unfortunately, a 4th Beast of the Week for Paige in 2025. Tua in the Pink, Large in the Margin award, 54.08 point margin of victory. That is the 3rd Large in the Margin award for Tua in the Pink in 2025. Radical Rob secures the Cuff and Link award in week 14. Projected loss of 3.68 points, pulls out the victory by 35.45 points. That is the first Cuff and Link award for Rob in 2025. And closing out with the Anxiety Award, the Pack beats out Brendan for his 3rd Anxiety Award in 2025. All right, let's take a quick look at end of season award totals. So I like to do this at 14 weeks because it's the last time that all teams can compete for an award. And Dominic the Donkey and the Pack tie for most awards that do not include Beast of the Week. So that is 8 awards each. So congratulations to Dominic the Donkey. Beauty of the Week awards on the season, the Pack led with 3. Beast of the Week, Paige and Matt tied with 4 each through 14 weeks. Large in the Margin award, Dominic the Donkey leads 2025 with 4. Cuff and Link, Dog Pound and Nakua Matata tied with 3 Cuff and Link award each. And for Anxiety Award, Pack and Al's Dumpster Divers tied for the most at 3 apiece. Congratulations to all the award winners in 2025. All right, Week 14 standings. Your final 8. Al's Dumpster Divers, first place. Trevor's Locks, Radical Rob, The Pack, Molly Dangerfield, Dog Pound, This Ain't Last Year, number 1. And last but not least, Dominic the Donkey. Congratulations to Dog Pound, Lewis, and Dominic the Donkey on clinching the playoffs this week. Nakua Matata narrowly misses that 8th place spot by a tiebreaker. of a margin of 38.61 points. So tough break, but just as an example to everyone, it's not always about winning and losing in the end with fantasy football. It's about even, trying to get as many points scored as possible. I know that's everybody's goal anyways, but just to reinforce how it accumulates sometimes in the end. Congratulations to Al's Dumpster Divers on the regular season first place finish. And congrats to Trevor's Locks on most points scored in the regular season with 1,681 points scored. That's number 8 all time for team point totals through 14 weeks. Trevor's Locks does hold the number 1 record all time for points scored through 14 weeks when he scored 1,857 points in 2023. So going to be hard to beat that number, I think, as I even said 3 years ago. But congrats to all the teams going to the playoffs. It should be fun. All right. Speaking of the playoffs, I just wanted to go through a quick summary of who we got and the experience going into the playoffs. We have first playoff appearance ever, Al's Dumpster Divers, making his debut as the big dog, the number 1 seed, making a statement. Shout out to Al. Hope you make a deep run there. Trevor's Locks, second place, coming in for their third playoff appearance, so third year making the playoffs. Radical Rob, third place, coming in with last year's champ and third playoff appearance for Radical Rob. The Pack coming in off a season a year ago as the top dog, got knocked out in the first round of the playoffs, making their second playoff appearance. Also, Molly Dangerfield, very consistent third playoff appearance for Molly. Dog Pound, second playoff appearance. Lewis, first playoff appearance, so congratulations to This Ain't Last Year number 1. And Dominic the Donkey sauntering in for their second playoff appearance. All right, let's do it. It's the quarterfinals. It's the official playoff preview. Up first, we have Al's Dumpster Divers taking on Dominic the Donkey. All-time record is tied at 2-2. This is the first ever postseason meeting between both teams, given that Al is making his playoff debut. Al's playoff history, strong regular season contender, doesn't have any playoff experience. Doesn't really matter in fantasy football. It's just how your players perform. But you want to choose wisely. Look for those good matchups. Dominic the Donkey playoff history, returns to the playoffs after a year out. Page's Primo team knocked out a couple teams. Dominic the Donkey was one of them last season, trying to make it through their first semifinal appearance. Al's Dumpster Divers comes into the postseason as the number 1 seed behind a dominant late season stretch, elite running back play, while Dominic the Donkey somewhat limps into the playoffs after losing 3 out of the last 4, but remains a very volatile team. Again, remember, I think there's 3 or 4 beauty of the weeks for Dominic the Donkey in 2025, as well as larger than margin award. So again, showing the capacity to score a lot of points and have spike weeks. It's going to depend on the wide receivers for Dominic the Donkey. So what's at stake? Al's looking to take advantage of that number 1 spot, prove he's still the number 1 team, and make a run deep into the playoffs, while Dominic the Donkey comes in as the bottom seed, looking to play upset. All right. Radical Rob taking on Dog Pound. All-time record. Radical Rob leads the series 3-0. So Ange coming in as the underdog, taking on last year's champ. Hasn't beat him yet, ever in league history. I don't know. Smells like an upset to me, but we'll have to tune in to find out. First postseason matchup meeting for both teams, so they've never met in the playoffs, even though they've both been playoff teams in the past. Radical Rob playoff history. What can you say? 3 straight years in the playoffs, 2 championship rounds, and 1 championship title last season. Dog Pound playoff history, returns to the playoffs after missing last year, looking to overcome that first round exit. Rob's team's coming in on fire. Burrow's starting to play, I guess, somewhat better, scoring a lot of points fantasy-wise. Maybe not on the field, not playing so good in the snow last week. But Zay Flowers, if Lamar can get going, T. Higgins can clear concussion protocol. That's a hard team to beat, especially with Christian McCaffrey back from a bye. He's going to be fresh. The Niners want to make it to the playoffs. They still don't have their destiny at hand, so I'm sure CMC is going to be running like crazy. And for Dog Pound, looking to take advantage of the momentum that hopefully A.J. Brown is starting to see. I don't know. But Travis Etienne in the Jags, they got momentum. And Etienne's hot. So it's going to be an interesting week. For Rob, a win positions him as the biggest threat to Al's number 1 seed probably at this point. And for Angelo, the biggest underdog in round 1, but has a lot of upset potential. All right. We have the Pack taking on Molly Dangerfield, the 4th place team taking on the 5th place team. Husband versus wife, inter-household battle for survival to see if the trophy will stay in the house or we're going to have to mail it again. God damn it. All-time record, the Pack leads the series 5-0, so it's been pure dominance, but makes me nervous because it just means that it's more of a likelihood that Molly's going to win eventually, and it would be good if it's not this week. The Pack looking to avoid a first-round exit for the 2nd season in a row in the playoffs. Molly coming in for her third straight playoff appearance, looking to make a push to the finals. Historically, the Pack's trying to shake the great regular season early exit stigma, while a win could set up a dream semifinal showdown for Molly Dangerfield facing the number 1 seed if Al's Dumpster Divers pulls out the win. So tune in to week 16 to find out. All right. Up next, we have Trevor's Locks taking on This Ain't Last Year, number 1. All time in this series so far. Trevor's Locks leads the series 3-0. Lewis making his first playoff appearance. Returning after last year's semifinal run is Trevor's Locks, putting up the most points scored over the season. Lost his quarterback, though. Daniel Jones going down with the Achilles injury. I believe Justin Herbert will be filling in with the broken hand there, so there's some risk, but definitely the potential to put up a lot of points in that Chargers offense if they can get Herbert some blocking. For Lewis's team, looking to ride, hopefully Bijan Robinson gets hot. It's been tough since Kirk Cousins has had to come in at quarterback. It's tough to make the playoffs for your first time and exit in the first round. So I know Lewis is chomping at the bit to make it in to the second round. And there's high expectations for Trevor's Locks because this is the 3rd season in a row making the playoffs. 2nd season overall scoring the most points in the league. You want some hardware, right, to go along with that. So I'm sure Trevor's Locks will be giving it their all this week to try to make it to the second round. All right. This is it. For those who made it, we're here. The cage match that is the fantasy football playoffs has begun. 8 teams enter the week. 4 teams leave. Your journey to a championship officially becomes real from this point forward, but it's all on the line now because you don't get to come back a second week. You climb the cage. You reach the top with 7 other teams. Who's getting tossed? Who's getting tossed off the side? Who's getting put through the roof, right? Onto a bed of thumbtacks? Who stays on top? It all starts Thursday. No regrets. You can't play scared now. Fucking send it. Let's go.
That is puts goosebumps on my back there. It makes the hair on my neck stand up. I like it. They're fighting on a steel roof of this cell. They use a
That's a steel chair that Mankind is
Oh my
using.
gosh, look at this, it broke through. It broke through.
Well, that's a lot of weight. There's 200-300 pounders up there. They're destroying the Hell in the Cell. And my God, don't get them over here where we are. What's going to happen here? Undertaker fighting back. He's fighting back. They're right above us, folks. And I don't like it a damn bit.
Oh my God.
Look out.